We've all seen and heard about Elon's $44 billion bid to take over Twitter, but is it a simple takeover or is there more to it? Let's find out. But before we do, let's see where we are in history, because to be honest, it's all become slightly murky and confusing. So in March, well technically 2018, we were introduced to the term Twitter sitter. Basically, a lawyer at Tesla, or more informally, a Twitter sitter, was at the time responsible for monitoring and pre-approving some of Musk's tweets. This happened because in 2018 he tweeted that he had funding secured to take Tesla private. This unsurprisingly sent Tesla shares through the roof. After an investigation, the US Securities and Exchange Commission sued Musk, saying he had misled investors. In the end, Musk and Tesla ended that dispute by agreeing to each pay $20 million and requiring a review of Musk's Tesla-related tweets. Side note, it's so strange to hear Tesla and Musk not as one person. So from then, he has had a Twitter sitter to ensure that he's not manipulating the market with his tweets. I'm sure we can all think of some others who could use this same service. So back in March of this year, Musk launched a very interesting poll on Twitter, where he said free speech is essential to a functioning democracy. Do you believe Twitter rigorously adheres to this principle? And unsurprisingly, the results were an overwhelming no. Let's be honest, Twitter hasn't exactly had the best press in recent years. Then, on the 26th of March, Musk continued his then secret assault on Twitter. He spoke with Twitter's co-founder Jack Dorsey about the future direction of social media, including the benefits of open social protocols. Fun fact, Twitter is funding an independent social media protocol called Blue Sky. Now this is where it gets interesting. Blue Sky is Twitter's open source offshoot. On the 25th of April, Blue Sky stated that although it was funded by Twitter, Twitter does not hold any controlling stake in the platform. Blue Sky also clarified that Twitter's funding came with one condition, that the project carried out research and development technologies that enabled open and decentralized public conversation. So Twitter is essentially funding a better Twitter. It's kind of like how we've messed up planet Earth, so now we're exploring other planets to go and start fresh with, but I'll save that for another video. This is when the first big news about Elon and Twitter broke. He also discussed joining the Twitter board with Egon Durbin, a Twitter board member who Musk had worked with in the past. On the call with Durbin, Musk also disclosed he purchased a significant stake of more than 5% of Twitter stocks. Now this is when things get even weirder. On the 27th of March, during a call with Twitter board chair Brett Taylor and CEO Parag Agrawal, Musk once again discussed joining the Twitter board and other arrangements. This included taking Twitter private or starting a rival social media service. Talk about making a first impression. He hasn't even been invited to dinner, and yet he wants to change the menu. And starting a rival service would have been a very strange move for Musk because even though he was publicly disagreeing about how Twitter was run, he had just brought a significant portion of its stock. Maybe it was like a Trojan horse, who knows. Anyway, these discussions continued for a few days and they went back and forth with Musk to iron out the details, such as what would happen if the company went private, the conflicts of interest between friends Musk, Dorsey and Durbin. Eventually, on the 5th of April, Twitter announced that Musk would be joining the Twitter board. His position was secured, so his plan was back on track. Now, that same day, Musk called his old pal Dorsey and said that he feels Twitter would be better off as a private company. Here we go again. I'm not sure how the conversation went, but in the end, Dorsey declined the offer to extend his stay on the board. This looks like it was a turning point because just 4 days later, Musk rejects his seat at the table and decides he wants to buy the table and chairs instead. So this caused a buzz of emergency meetings and discussion, and on the 12th of April, Twitter's board met with its lawyers as well as financial advisors and discussed the potential impact of Musk's offer or a decision to decline it. The board, for the first time, discussed a shareholders' rights plan, better known as a poison pill defence, which would make Musk's shares worthless and make it nearly impossible for him to execute a hostile takeover of the company. On the 13th of April, Musk sent his acquisition offer to Taylor, seeking to buy the company at $54.20 per share, making it about $44 billion. And here's a text of that letter. Press pause and take a read. Now, Elon being Elon decided to make tweets that led the Twitter board to believe Musk might commence an unsolicited tender offer. One tweet just said, "Love me tender." Elon never change. On the 15th of April, Twitter adopts the poison pill, buying them time to consider Musk's proposal. Now, up until this point, I think we all just assumed that Elon would be able to buy Twitter because the man has money, money that I cannot even fathom. Forbes named him the wealthiest man on earth, but clearly that was not the case because on the 21st of April, he announced that he had secured $46.5 billion in financing for this acquisition, the first real assurance that Musk would be able to buy the company. A few days later, Musk sends another letter to Brett, the board chair, urging him to accept the offer. It seemed to have worked because if Elon had sold his 9% share in Twitter, that was supposed to be 5%, it would have driven down the company's stock price and caused another host of problems. Moral, be careful who you invite to your table. So that brings us to where we are now. And it seems that Elon has buyer's remorse because on the 13th of May, he tweeted that the deal is now on hold until he can confirm the share of fake accounts on Twitter. So two things to note. Legally, there's no putting the deal on hold. Even if Musk is considering pulling out, Twitter can go to court, if necessary, to complete the deal or extract a $1 billion penalty from Musk. If Twitter chooses to remove the obligation, there's no penalty for pulling out the deal. And number two, wouldn't you do your due diligence before bidding $44 billion on a platform? Musk has recently secured $6.25 billion in investment from third parties because he could not buy Twitter without selling large portions of his Tesla stock. Investors included venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz, the crypto exchange Binance, and Oracle CEO Larry Ellison. So what is his end game? This whole takeover has raised many questions. Another social media giant coming under the control of a single billionaire is alarming, especially because of all the user data this purchase will allow him to have and how far he will take the free speech he has promised. It is possible that one man could have the monopoly on vehicles, space, and now social media. The phrase absolute power corrupts absolutely comes to mind. He has said that free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy, and Twitter is the digital town square where matters vital to the future of humanity are debated. And while I agree that free speech is a nice idea in principle, we have seen that that doesn't always work on social media. Twitter permanently banned Donald Trump from the platform for spreading false information and was blamed for inciting the January 2021 riot on Capitol Hill. Now, what will happen if Musk brings Trump back to Twitter? At the moment, social media companies struggle to contain misinformation and hate speech. Musk, whose tweets can lead to bullies rising up and shares to tank, does not seem too keen on content moderation. By saying Twitter is not living up to its potential to be a platform for free speech, he seemed to be saying he would scale back on this content moderation aspect. But he has also called for the company to crack down on spam accounts, which implies more moderation. He proposed dropping ads from service, which is how Twitter makes its money. He seems to have a set of genuine and political social beliefs about how Twitter should be run, and he feels like Twitter isn't doing this justice. He also uses the platform and sees its power. Twitter has no doubt increased his personal brand endeavours. Musk has described himself as a free speech absolutist, but he has also blocked Twitter users who question or disagree with him. Regulators have also accused his car company Tesla of retaliating against black workers who speak up against discrimination. I believe the problem is not free speech, but the irresponsible abuse of free speech, leading to disinformation through the sea of social media. This then manifests itself into real-world problems, i.e. the storm on Capitol Hill resulting in violence, silly people in office, racism, marginalisation, and even death. Besides wanting to make Twitter a free speech nirvana, he may want to use Twitter to become his own personal marketing tool. We're at the mercy of social media algorithms. Our data is extracted and kept for as long as possible, earning more platforms much more money than through social media. We can't ignore the fact that Musk is the CEO of Tesla, SpaceX, and Neuralink, the company that's developing implantable brain-machine interfaces. Can you imagine what could be done with Twitter algorithms and Neuralink? Targeted advertising on a DNA level. It's terrifying, yet equally intriguing. But before you all start pulling out your fur hats and dusting off your Nokia 3310s, all is not lost. Due to data protection legalization around the world, personal data that is input on Twitter cannot legally be used for other purposes, such as for other companies. Well, that's in Europe anyway. So, what's next? If Musk can show he was misled about the number of fake accounts, it would give him the option of walking away through a material adverse effect clause, though legal experts have expressed doubt about this strategy. The terms of the agreement carry a $1 billion termination fee, and his withdrawal could trigger a messy legal battle, some experts have said. Interestingly, he has said buying Twitter at a lower price was not out of the question, an indication that he was distancing himself from the $44 billion offer originally announced in April. Tesla shares, a major source of Elon's massive wealth, have dropped more than 30% since he first disclosed his minority stakes in Twitter in April, wiping roughly $300 billion of Tesla's value. Though he's still the richest man in the world, it is estimated that his $213 billion fortune is down nearly $57 billion from the start of the year. The deal has heaped pressure on Tesla stock in a risky market environment, so maybe the bot accusation is a way to push for a lower price. Who knows? If the Twitter bid falls through, I suspect Elon will continue on his venture to make social media free again and create his own platform. However, will his 93 million followers and more follow him to the next chapter? Will it be like the Lord of the Flies? Whatever happens, I'm sure we will be watching, reading and tweeting in earnest. Thank you for watching.